The principal of F1 team Haas is this man, Guenther Steiner, a colourful character who's made quite a name for himself, partly due to his animated performances on the Netflix documentary Drive to Survive. More about Herr Steiner in just a moment. You've probably seen him on Drive to Survive Series 1 and possibly the new series. That show made Guenther a star, perhaps more of a star than either of the two Haas drivers, the likeable and unlucky Romain Grosjean and the cool but quiet Kevin Magnussen. And before I get too far in, allow me to thank LuxuryBazaar.com for sponsoring this video. It's because of them that you have access to this content. LuxuryBazaar.com has been around for decades, and if you're after high-end accessories, in particular luxury watches, I'm suggesting you head to LuxuryBazaar.com. I've bought several pre-owned watches over the years, and I've always gone to great lengths to ensure the seller is trusted and respected. LuxuryBazaar.com is both. And at the end of this video, head across and have a look at what they've got to offer. Back to Guenther Steiner. What I love about him is his honesty. He calls it as he sees it, and often he wears his heart on his sleeve. Oh, and he can swear, as you probably know. There's a very funny video compile floating around on social media featuring all of his f***s from Drive to Survive Season 2. There's about 35 of them in total. And this meme had many laughing. Vankers! Some say he's the F1 equivalent of Gordon Ramsay. A fair call. I had to laugh when this spectator gave him a gift of a swear jar. How apt is that? And his reaction was, as you'd expect, jovial and appreciative. So popular was he in the first Drive to Survive series, he and Haas are featured prominently in the first couple of Series 2 episodes. But let me tell you a little about the man. He hails from Italy, but his name and accent are more German. How is this so? Well, it's because he's from the city of Bolzano in the Italian Alps, an area known as Sud Tirol, South Tyrol. While his hometown is located within Italy, it's not far from the border with Austria and Germany beyond that. As a result, those who live in this region comprise a mix of Italian and German-Austrian cultures, hence Guenther's mystifying accent. So what did he do prior to running Haas? Well, he had a rich history in motorsport. He spent many years in rallying, starting in 1986 as a mechanic at Mazda Team Europe, and worked his way up the ladder at various outfits in Italy and the UK. He spent some time as MD for Jaguar F1 and in 2005 went to Red Bull Racing as Technical Operations Manager for their F1 team. Following year, moved to the US, set up Red Bull's NASCAR team, and 4 years later, in 2014, he was offered the role of Haas team principal by this man, Gene Haas. In the team's first year in the competition, 2016, Haas finished 8th in the constructors' standings with a total of 29 points, the most of any new team in this millennium. He's definitely a hands-on boss. On a number of occasions, I've seen him addressing his troops in the garage at length. I've not seen that with too many other teams, which is not to say it doesn't happen, it's just that it's not overly visible if it does. He was born in Murano, Italy on April 7, 1965. That makes him 54 years of age. Today, though, he resides in Mooresville, North Carolina, the home of Haas Racing. He's married to Gertrude, and I've only got one pic of the pair, which I took in Japan last year, and I've never seen his daughter Greta at the track, hence I have no pictures of her. When you see Guenther on TV, you probably spot his press officer Stewart Morrison in the background. They're often sighted together in the paddock, with Stewart being responsible for getting Guenther to and from his many media commitments. Interestingly, Haas only has one press officer, unlike, say, Ferrari, which has Mia and Britta, Mercedes with Felix and Rosa, and Red Bull with Jacques and Victoria. I digress a little, I know, but Stewart comes from Scotland and divides his time at the track between Romain, Kevin and Guenther. So there's little free time for him on a race weekend, although I did catch him having a quick break in the Haas hospitality suite the other day in Barcelona at testing. He's a solid boy, and someone suggested was a fair rugby player and even a poet, but I've not been able to confirm either of those. Anyway, back to Guenther. He's one of the most accessible team principals when it comes to the media. I followed and photographed him for an hour or so at testing, and I was surprised by a few things. For a start, he mentioned in one interview that despite his sizable presence in Drive to Survive 1 and 2, he'd never actually watched the show and didn't intend to. As an interviewee, he's always full of chat. No one-word answers here. He's animated and interesting to listen to, and was aware that he was caught swearing a lot in the doco. It seemed like water off a duck's back though. And at the end of the hour that I shadowed him in Barcelona, he took a moment to have a quick chat and pose for a couple of portrait pics. From a photographic point of view, he's a great subject. He has so much character in his face with his furrowed brow and broad range of expressions. He can look right through you too, as is the case here. He isn't on Instagram or any social media and has no intention of starting anytime soon. Although many would be fooled by this account on Instagram, Gunter Steiner Official. It's not official and it's definitely not his. So what's he like as a boss? Well, Haas press officer Stewart Morrison tells me he's legendary. The best boss he's ever worked for. Everyone knows exactly where they stand with Gunter, and Roman Grosjean says he's passionate about racing, and in Roman's words, he doesn't do much poetics. He always tells you what he thinks. I often catch Gunter quietly watching on. In the garage, prior to the car heading out for a session, he'll stand at the back and observe, quietly taking it all in, making mental notes, but not interfering. When the car leaves, he moves over to the screens and once again just takes it all in. On race days, I find him observing on the grid, letting his people do what they need to do. And if there's a TV crew wanting a chat, he's almost always available. I think it's his willingness to appease the media that Haas sponsors like Jack and Jones, Pirelli, and the others would love. Of his relationship with his drivers, it can be sweet and sour. I love these shots of Roman Grosjean walking with him in the Spielberg paddock, Roman playing up to him. I think they get on pretty well. But hark back to Silverstone last year when the Haas drivers took each other out, and the relationship between the drivers and the boss was completely the opposite, with both drivers copping an earful from Gunter. His temper has also cost him money. After the Russian GP last year, he fired up on the team radio about a 5-second penalty handed to Kevin Magnussen. If we didn't have a stupid, idiotic steward, we would be 8th, he declared. That outburst was not well received by the FIA, and as a result, he copped a €7,500 fine. As an aside, I noticed on my last live stream video, only 23% of you were subscribed. So I'm going to ask for your help here right now, raising the channel's profile. I'd like you to click the subscribe button. Look, it costs you nothing, but it means such a lot. Remember, this content is free for you, but I do need your support, and subscribing is the obvious way to show your support. So come on, if you haven't hit the button, how about we do it now? Yeah, now. I'll wait. Just press the button. Thank you. Back to Gunter. One of his most loved traits is answering questions frankly. Some of the other team principals will dance around questions or completely avoid answering them, and yet Gunter is straight to the point almost always. He doesn't mince his words, and if he doesn't want to talk about something, he's upfront about it, and no amount of badgering by a reporter will sway him. I love Gunter. I think the sport needs people like him. The fans appreciate seeing the raw emotion, and his passion for racing is palpable. A quick flick through on Reddit will show he's immensely popular, and while that doesn't help the team perform better on track, it does raise the team's profile, which goes a long way to pleasing the owners and sponsors of Haas. That's Gunter Steiner, team principal of Haas Racing and one of the characters of Formula One. Oh, and before I go, I'm inviting you to one of my F1 long table dinners. There are 4 coming up: Amsterdam, Montreal, Monaco, and London on the Tuesday prior to the British GP at Silverstone. Simply head to kimellman.com, click on dinner events, and let's get you along. I'd love to talk a little bit more about Gunter Steiner there and then with you. And before you leave, please like this video, and once again, if you haven't done it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to receive notifications of new videos. All of my images are available at prostarpics.com. My blogs and podcasts, you'll find them at kimellman.com. And for my best pics live from the track and all through the week, it's at Kim Ellman on Instagram. Thanks for watching and stay passionate.